This demo is an overview of the software framework. I'm showing this on Windows for recording purposes, but it runs anywhere Python can, which means the clear majority of OS types. Just go ahead and start it up. The software framework is written in Python 3, along with all content-based scripting. Settings, config files, jobs, RESTful APIs, they all use JSON. So if you're familiar with JSON formats in Python, you should have no problem understanding or extending the platform as desired. Let's go ahead and take a look at the startup and status logs. So now it's running. Architecture in short, while I start a couple of the clients, take a step back here real quick. I'm starting this all on the same machine for illustration purposes for the demo here, but they can be started anywhere. So the architecture in short, multi-process for its services and clients, and multi-threaded within each process, and that enables a horizontally scalable environment. So you can dynamically increase or decrease subscribed workers on demand and in an automated fashion if desired. I'm going to be showing folders, command lines, files, because the core framework is not wrapped by a GUI. We may build a simple one for system administration and future releases, but there's no GUI plan for general user consumption. The user consumption, that's going to happen in your user-facing tooling. This is strictly the back-end framework. So I'm going to open up some logs here and show a couple of the service and clients moving, doing something. So here's the service. If I go back to well, it's rolled. So if I open up the previous log, notice that it has 27, so almost 30 jobs that are configured, and I think only one, yeah, so we have 2 of them that are enabled right now for the demo. And in the, let's pick another, how about the data transformation? So we have four jobs set up in here, and you can see the intervals, nothing's running right now. Those are the core services. If I were to open up one of the clients, and let's choose the content gathering client for this demo, and we'll take a detail and a stat log. Again, these are to show you that it's wired together and working. Job detail, we have this on debug, so high level of output right now, so you'll be able to see some stuff running through here. These are actions regularly occurring. If I can follow and notice the log growing, and it's querying and running. So the service talks to the client is spinning up threads, and the job details, you can see, if I can go to the end, okay, so it stops some threads, it's going to spin more up, there you go, continue running. The job status, this shows high level, just information coming back through, success, and the objects coming back. So notice here we have some objects. Now this is a log. Obviously logs aren't where we want to stay. So let me bring up a database visualizer. These are the results as they come back into the database, and I'm sorted on job right now, so you can see, let's see, the 2 jobs that we're running are down in here. But you can see there's information that comes back in on endpoint, the job, whether it passed or failed, messages if it failed. So this is nice. It gives it in the format of the client. So this is PowerShell. It's showing PowerShell the actual message, time started and finished, elapsed, and the result. So this is just high level how it's coming back, and this goes into the platform table. So now let me take a second and mention that there are 3 different database schemas that we use. Data is where the data goes from, the content flows. Platform is the application side, where credentials are, where configurations of endpoints, and then job statuses as an example here. Here's a data query, has some IPs. Obviously I wouldn't want to query most of this from a database table because our database is hierarchical. There's an inheritance, so multiple tables are queried when you ask for the result set. So I'd use the API instead. Right now I have up Insomnia. You can use your favorite REST utility of choice, where you can query the platform and pull back the data. So count, OCP tool count. Now OCP is the the route for this and its standard REST, so you can follow the breadcrumbs to get there. I won't be getting into the REST service so much in this demo, but here's a count of objects that come back, and looking at software fingerprints, which is what that previous job was creating. You can run this and see that it's going to pull back content on, well, in this case, software fingerprints. We can do queries for complex hierarchies too, and this is an example using a filter, shells connected to nodes, and then the result set that comes back, and pretty complex filter types if you like. So now going back to the logs as they were getting created there, so you can see the wiring. I'm going to go and take a quick walkthrough on the directory structure now. Conf, just to hit the highlights, conf has your settings and configuration files. I can open one of these up, let's say global settings, where you can see this is standard JSON. So there's information in here, what files used for which settings, ports, IPs, endpoints, wait seconds, etc. It's just data on configuration, how the platform runs. Content is where add-on content goes, and it's more than just your content gathering. So content gathering is the integration, discovery. It's going out to endpoints and pulling data in. That's content gathering. Data transformation is a server side where you can create, well, I'm showing in this demo platform, logical model creation and object references, and there's others. We'll focus on the content gathering since I showed some jobs there, but in content gathering you can add in additional content, and if you do, it would get dropped into this folder. I won't go into detail on that, but other demos will show how you can work with, change, modify, and create new content, because after all, this is a part of the flexibility of the platform. Framework, I skipped one. Docs, this is your PyDoc, Python documentation if you're familiar with that. That's standard, or Sphinx, which is data-driven documentation, and then others where our created documents go, like our database schemas and flow diagrams, etc. Framework is the main platform folder where you have your services, which you can see results processing, content gathering, different services, and the clients. Databases where our schemas are kept. There are 3 schemas and they're grouped in different orders. Libs, standard, shared libraries across the different internal components, and then our runtime, which has the log, client and service. Oh, and there's this JSON directory as well. So we were just looking at the standard logs, but using Twisted, we're actually generating logs in JSON format, which means you can actually query and do self-help, self-maintenance, if you will, based on what's coming through the logs. So that's to come in a future release.